So firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's already joined. Obviously, I think this is a really important year for the children's space. We're heavily involved with it from a day to day, week to week basis, and we're in a big passion to really help revolutionise this space and make sure that the children's space is being as brave, being as bold, and making a positive impact to as many children's lives as possible. That's what we're about, and this is what the aim of this webinar is really here to do, is to really help guide, showcase some good best practice, some things to think about, and some good tips that you can put in place straight away off the back of it. So with that being said, we can get into the start of it. So who we are. So we are a purpose-led digital marketing agency called We Are Louise. We are actually named We Are Louise after Louise Allen, who's a leader within the foster care space. And our sort of whole mantra of who we are as an agency is really coming through and bursting through adversity, channeling disruption, being braver, being against the norm, making sure that you're front and center and you're connecting and really resonating with as many people as possible. And Louise Allen's whole background and her story of growing up with foster care, running away from her family to survive and forging a career, out of nothing to become a best-selling author, a senior lecturer within a university. I think she's writing a film now for Nicole Kidman with Netflix and doing such amazing things, as well as running a charity for young girls in care to get new jobs and careers, and a really exciting new opportunity. And she basically embodies what we're about as an agency, and that's what we really try to lead with our messaging, our branding, and the way we work with our clients as well. And these are some of the industries and sectors that we cover. So AP is a big one for us, foster care, care groups as well, so children's home supported accommodation, health care, care tech, and then also charities as well. But obviously it's not just me who's here today. So I also just introduce Gemma, who also introduced herself at the moment now.
So as Kurt's just said, my name's Gemma. I've been working in the AP industry for nearly 2.5 years now, and I've worked closely with Becky, who's also on the call. She'll speak a bit later. She works for, or heads up, Illuminate AP down in Bournemouth, but I've been working with Louise since the beginning, and have worked across so many different industries within the children's sector. And what I'll do a bit later on is a deep dive into different marketing routes that you can explore.
Perfect. So the aim of this session, and these are some of the key sort of principles, some of the challenges, some things that we've picked up on. And just to caveat is my role is head of growth at Louise. So big thing is speaking to founders of children's organizations. So I speak to lots of founders every week and really delve into the types of challenges, some of the things that they're struggling with, some things that they're facing, and the hurdles that they're jumping over within the children's organization space. And what we're really seeing, especially from a marketing lens, is that silence no longer protects you. And being quiet doesn't equal credibility. And I think a common trap with this space, and it's no fault of anyone's within the industry, is that a lot of the amazing founders of this organization, they're not coming from becoming a successful CEO or a founder from another organization. These are teachers who've had they've seen something that they want to go and start a new purposeful business and organization to help young people. They might have been a nurse, they might have come through care themselves. They're not necessarily equipped with marketing or sales experience. And I think sometimes getting a website up and live is, they think, okay, great, we've got a website live, we want to get help and we want to get referrals and we want to help young people, but nothing's potentially coming through. So there's a bit of a knowledge gap, or they just think that that's okay, but there's actually a lot more that needs to be done. And obviously that's something that we're seeing at the moment, and good work doesn't speak for itself anymore. And I think something that's a little bit sad, and what we really want to try and help shine a light on, is so many amazing APs, so many amazing foster care organizations are doing such amazing work for all these young people. But when you do go to their websites, you do go to their content or their social channels, you go to their LinkedIn, you're not really seeing that amazing work that they're doing, and it's really hard to sort of picture what a typical, Tuesday looks like, or a typical Wednesday looks like. Or you've got an amazing site, but you want to see what that site looks like. You want to envision what that young person's going to be working through and what their experiences look like. And I think at the moment, a lot of organizations websites and their whole shop window, you're not really getting that whole picture at the moment. And I think that's a big issue, and especially with the new roll-ups and new legislations that's coming up in a few years, especially within the AP landscape, is forcing that move that people really need to start pinpointing exactly who they are, what makes them different, and why they stand out. And hopefully, in today's examples of some of the works that we've done, we'll cover why marketing matters right now, what actually works, some real life world perspectives. We're going to make this as interactive as possible with a bit of a Q&A at the end. We really want people to step up and showcase some of the issues or challenges and some of the hurdles that they might be facing, and hopefully we can answer them and help you. And then what happens next, about what we're looking to do moving forward as well after that.
What would be really good right now for us to understand how you feel about your current marketing is if you could just drop a message into the chat box. You should have a link down below of how you feel your marketing is going right now, and potentially where you think your marketing could need more support. So if you wouldn't mind just typing something out so that we can grasp how everyone's feeling about their marketing, we'd really appreciate it.
Give it like a minute.
Yeah. Also, if anyone's got any questions that crop up throughout this session, again, write them in the chat box and we can come back and answer them at the end of the session.
Yeah. Sorry, I've gone like brain. I'm thinking of writing,
there you go.
But my brain isn't functioning, so I'm like, oh, I don't know what to write.
That's okay.
That's fine.
What I was thinking in my head though was actually thinking about when you've got your different audiences. So I run an alternative provision, and actually sometimes parents seeking alternative provision for their child, they may have sort of support needs themselves, and it's about having a user-friendly profile where it's simple, clear, and not also overcomplicated, because you want to have it professional for professionals looking, but at the same time the audience market will this meet the need of my child? So it's having that balance, I suppose.
100%, and that's something that I'll touch on a bit later today. So it's speaking to the audience that you want to connect with directly, and that's, you can use different marketing streams to that and be really clever with it. And that applies to foster care, that applies to supported accommodation in the children's sector as well, because we're well aware that you're talking to the LAN commissioners, you're going to be talking to schools, SENCOs, head teachers, you're going to be talking to potential foster carers within the fostering sector that you maybe want to transfer to or apply to become a foster carer, or you're also talking to the parents, guardians, carers who are looking after the young people, but you're also talking to the young people directly themselves. These young people have been through God knows what, and they're some of the most, I don't like the word challenging, but they've lived lives that we probably haven't experienced ourselves and come with their own experiences. So you want to make sure that you're creating an environment that feels safe, comfortable, and supportive for them to re-engage with learning or whatever pathway that they're going to go on next. Because first and foremost, if they don't trust you, you're not going to get anything out of them. And your social media, your website is that first window into who you are and what you do. But we'll touch on that a bit later. But thank you for bringing that up, because it's so important and something that a lot of people kind of misjudge.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more on that one. And I think obviously we touched on a little bit, but why marketing matters now is there is been a massive change in momentum. And I think Emily sort of just touched on it a little bit there as well, is about the ground has shifted. And what we're seeing is it's a real big challenge for, if we use AP as a specific example, a lot of the local authorities and commissioners might have, you wouldn't say preferred choice of a vendor, if you want to say a vendor, or choose a provision, or whatever that may be, but some do have really good existing relationships, and they might be for the genuinely right reasons. But what we really want to see, and what we really want to make sure, is that the young people are going to the right provisions. If we're using the AP as an example, right? But what the APs themselves really need to do is really finalize and narrow down exactly who they serve, what makes them different, and what if they're right for that young person. So a lot of APs, for example, might be, we help, we want to really help young people thrive, and it sort of doesn't leave you with much to work with, right? But we're actually a key stage 3, key stage 4, post 16 AP with a clear path to getting into future jobs and vocational training. Okay, that's great. I think that person, this young person, for example, wants to become a mechanic. I think X AP is going to be perfect for that new young person for that exact reasons, and that might move that young person away from the person that might get the first pick to the actual right provision that they really want to get to. And I think that's where we really want to start moving forward. But at the moment, local authorities, commissions, they don't really have the time to be spending all the hours of the day looking at all these different websites for all these different provisions. So it's really essential that when they do go on these websites, that the AP says exactly who they are, what makes it different within the first 30 seconds. And I think we really need to get to that place sooner rather than later. And I think with the messaging, just to make sure like you're making it as easy as jobs for yourselves, but also for the actual people and the audience that are actually looking at your AP. And I think ultimately that will make you a lot more credible and a lot more truster to work with from their eyes as well. And some of the things that we see weekly and some of the conversations I have see weekly, when you're not in that state and you're not up to that sort of best in class approach, you have a lot of alteration in terms of 1 minute we might be full 1 month, and the next minute there's no referrals, or we're not just getting in new carers in with there's a bed that hasn't been filled within the support and accommodation home, and you're not really got the answers for. And you want to sort of pinpoint that to actual real logistics, real actual evidence, real data points. And we're trusted by the people. People don't really get what we do, and it's like I can't tell you how many times I speak to founders and they'll be like, I just don't think my website's great, and I don't think it really reflects who we are and what we do. And and I think that's a real big issue. And if you're not connecting with what you're showcasing, essentially your website and your overall thing is the shop window, it's your front door of your house. It's when someone comes into your room, what do they associate you by? And I think that's the way you have to look at your website, as if you don't feel like it reflects you, then that's something that we need to need to focus on and think about, what does really, just to make sure that's doing yourself the justice it should be doing. And if that sounds familiar, then drop a little flame chat in the emoji box if that helps. But yeah, I'm not so sure if you want to elaborate further, Jem.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. And another thing that we're seeing quite frequently is there's new APs, support accommodation, children's homes popping up all the time. Like the children's sector as a whole is becoming quite saturated now. We know that. I'm sure you're all aware of it as well. You're competing with more people within your local authority, competing with other schools. People might be undercutting your prices. So kind of what Kurt has touched on is you really need to express your key selling points. What makes you different? What makes you a cut above the rest? And why should a local authority or school refer to you? Why should a foster carer transfer to you? Why should an LA put in a referral for a young person to live within your supported accommodation, as opposed to a 5-minute drive up the road who is £300 less a week than you? It's about making yourself really shine and express the incredible work that you're doing for these young people, because they're the focal point first and foremost, right? We're all doing this for young people, to support young people, to give them a better future.
Yeah.
Why should referral partners work with you?
Yeah, I think one of the favorite analogies or the ways I try to articulate a certain point sometimes is like, when I'm passionate about this space and I really want to see it, I really want to see how a young person can look at a potential, a supported accommodation, a children's home, an AP, whatever it, or a foster care, whatever it may be. And I always use an example, like if you was to book a holiday, you would never book a hotel without seeing a room. And I think that goes to the same with AP, like show your site, show your culture, show video tours, showcase the rooms that you have. Like some of these are amazing and they're never being shown. And it really helps. And as obviously I'm a parent myself, if my young boy was to go to an AP, the first thing I want to know is exactly what it looks like. And I know you might have book visits and you'll see it, but you know, that should be on the website. And I think it's something, just a simple frame of like, you know, as a hotel choice, like you just wouldn't book a hotel if you didn't know what the room looks like. So like it's the same thing for a child, and I think things like that go like a really long way, but it's not being done enough. So yeah, we, you know, something small like that can make such a big difference. But I'll pass over to Jem now, and we'll start looking at some actual examples and some, you know, before and afters.
Okay, so we're going to do a bit of a deep dive now into some of the sectors that we work with. So Fledge Tuition is an online tutoring company. They work with young people who have EBSA, anxiety towards school, are out of school because of medical conditions, or are care experienced young people, children. So they will teach online or in one-to-one situations with young people. Story Group are an AP based in Berkshire. They're expanding into Dorset and Wiltshire later this year, as well as Milton Keynes. So they also have supported accommodation and children's home services. So I believe that they have 4 supported accommodation homes now for 16 plus young people, and 1 children's home that's open and another opening this year. To the Moon and Back, sorry for the abbreviation there, it's just a slip. To the Moon and Back are a fostering agency based in Cambridgeshire. So we're going to give you an example of their social media content that we worked with them on. And Illuminate ATP are based in Bournemouth. They're an alternative provision service down there. And Becky will talk a bit more about Illuminate later on. She's kindly joined us today. But let's go through Fledge first and foremost. So as I mentioned, Fledge is an online tutoring service. Here's a mock-up of their old website. As you can see, the colour palette is a bit dark and dingy. It's not very inspiring. Okay, they've got a lovely big hero image here, but it doesn't really tell you much about what they do or who they are. The nav bar at the top of the website is really good. They've got a sign up call to action and a login call to action. So the sign up call to action would be for a referral partner to make a referral into Fledge Tuition, and the login is for tutors to log in, log their hours, join lessons, etc. It's not really for young people though, and young people are the people that are going to be receiving the service. The site doesn't really tell you much about Fledge, what they do, who they are. It was quite a clunky website to work around and figure out where you needed to be, and they just weren't seeing many referrals come through. You're also not they weren't really being specific about the audiences that they were speaking to either. So if we move on to their new website, this is just a little snippet of what Fledge looks like now. You can go and take a look at their website yourself and have a little play and a look around with it. So there are much clearer call to actions in the top of the page now. They're a different colour for different journeys. So the purple one is try Fledge for free. People can sign up, referral partners can sign up and take a look at different services for so when you click on that button, you can make a referral for commissioners and schools. They will go through a different pathway as to parents and guardians. They can also make a referral through a different pathway. So you're now directing audiences to where they need to be and sharing information specifically to these audiences that is applicable to them. It's also more young person focused, helping every student take flight, playing on the Fledge wording, and just having a bit of fun with your marketing. And if you can just see, there's a little bird icon. We've called him a fledgling. He's the little character that pops up throughout Fledge's marketing. So it's just a nice little character that people can interact with, and he's kind of become the face of Fledge, so to speak.
Perfect.
So now we're coming on to Story Group. We're going to focus on their supported accommodation and children's homes here, but the same preface for what I'm going to show you can be applied to AP as well. There's a lot of similarities in how you can work supported accommodation and alternative provision websites. The Story Group website hosts both supported accommodation and alternative provision services. So in the top nav bar there, you can see services. When you hover over that, it will give you a drop down to direct you to the pathway that you want to go on to. So already you can easily digest the information that you want to find. There's a clear call to action in the top right hand corner as well, which is a different color to draw the eye. That's really important. A lot of the time we see referral buttons either not in the top nav, or they're a very dull color, or just words that no one are going to click on. So you want to make it really appealing for referral partners to refer to you. This section is called Above the Fold. So this is the hero banner that will sit at the top of your website. So you've got a clear title here and clear information about how Story Group revolves around their supported accommodation, children's home services, with a clear call to action to see their homes, discover our homes, click on this, take a look at what we offer.
Perfect. And just something to add just there as well. Obviously, story is you're playing into the words of a story, right? So what you'll see of a lot of the branding and a lot of the designs is, is incorporating around a book. So a lot of the illustrations, a lot of the designs, like here you can see like a hand drawn versions of the housing. A lot of the words and the messaging will be reflecting to you'll see in a moment around play on words around stories, books, and it's supposed to capture the journey of a young person, right? And the outward look journey of writing a new young person's journey and what their new chapter in life could look like. And that's what you're trying to play with. And I think it's really important to play on that and, making sure your own branding and the messaging reflects who you are and the outcomes that you're looking to serve. So that's something like you might see here along the way, similar to the example that Jem just showed with Fledged Tuition, with the Fledged and the Birds, which obviously she mentioned as well.
So as Kat mentioned earlier, you wouldn't book a hotel without seeing the room that you're booking into. You don't know if it's going to have bed bugs or look a bit gross, and you don't want that. You want a really lovely hotel room that you're going to be nice and comfortable in. The same applies to alternative provision, supported accommodation. You want to see the product you're buying, so to speak. And I know that's not the right terminology, but it kind of applies to this. You want to see the quality of service that a local authority or a school is buying for the young person. So we've given an outline here of the services that Story Group offers within their supported accommodation and children's home. So there's a nice little snippet here about their children's home with another call to action to direct you to book a meeting to view the children's home, which is check out our children's home. There's a short overview there as well. Without getting too technical, you need something like 200 to 300 words on a website page for it to rank for SEO. Now, we'll probably host another webinar at some point on SEO. That's a whole other beast, so I'm not going to go into it in detail now. However, we've given clear information here about what Story Group offers within their children's home, the age range, the young people they work with, the name, so that referral partners can clearly see the information. Now, below that is a screenshot of a carousel section on the website of what a supported accommodation home looks like, with key bullet points about where the home is, how many rooms are within the home, the kind of young person it caters to. It's Ofsted registered, very important that you include that if you have a children's home or supported accommodation home. But I'd like to preface that this can also be applied to alternative provision. So if you go and look on Story Group's website, there's a very similar layout for AP. They outline their services very clearly and they show each of their sites individually as well. So a referral partner, a parent, a young person can land on the website and check out, the AP that they might be attending, the home that they might be moving into. So it's a clear snapshot of the service that they're going into.
Yeah, perfect.
And then just to kind of wrap up Story Group's website. So it's really, really important that you highlight key members of staff. So Chloe is the operations manager for Story Group's children's home. So she heads up Emerald House and Ruby House. It outlines all of her qualifications, who she is, what she does, how long she's been doing it for, and how to get in contact with her. So she's the thought leader and the key point of contact within our children's home. So LA, families, if they still have contact with the young people, can view her straight away and go, I know this person, I can put a face to this person, I trust her because I trust her credentials. And then wrapping into the story journey that Kurt was touching on earlier, Story Group also posts regular blog posts on their website and articles. Each month they do a newsletter. We create a newsletter for them called the Monthly Chapter. Now that is a nice spin on the story name. We're working into a book. Story itself is writing a whole book, multiple chapters on the young people that we work with. And within the newsletters, we highlight wins, no matter how big or small, throughout AP, children's homes, and our supported accommodation, and any staff announcements that we need to go through as well. If you look on the story site completely, at the bottom of each page, you'll see a full team list. so people can view the teams within supported accommodation, within the children's homes, within the AP. So you've got clear points of contact. And then just to touch on some social media bits. So this is To the Moon and Back. They're a foster care agency, I mentioned, based in Cambridgeshire. So we just wanted to show how you can use branding really nicely, but also to use your own organic photography, not stock photography. You want to show people who you are, what you do, have cheesy photo shoots put on if you need to. That's absolutely fine, because you're showing the character of who you are and what you do. The middle photo is actually of Alison, one of the founders of To the Moon and Back. So again, you're showing that your founders are actively involved. You know, you're at the top of mind when local authorities are looking at you. They can instantly recognise you and want to engage with your content on social media. What we also find a lot of is that people will try and put a lot of information on their social media artwork. You don't need to do that. That's what the caption is for. Keep it nice and concise, ask questions, try and get people involved and engaged through the headlines, but your caption is there for wider detail. Okay, now we're going to hand over to Becky, who is joining us from Illuminate AP. So Becky, if you wouldn't mind just giving those left on the call an overview of how we've worked with you, how Illuminate kind of started and the space that you're kind of moving into now.
Sure, that's fine. So yeah, I'm Becky. I am the Managing Director of Illuminate AP in Bournemouth, and we cover Bournemouth, Dorset, Christchurch and Poole. And we have been open just over a year now, actually. In November 24 was when we officially started and launched. I cannot say enough how crucial the marketing for Illuminate AP has been, and the support we've had from Gemma and Kurt has just been amazing for us, and we've really needed it. Being a completely new AP in the area, we what we offer, which is a reset program, which is transition and reintegration back into education. There isn't many APs within the area who offer that kind of marketing aspect has been really, really important to us. We started off initially, we didn't have a website, we didn't have anything. So we've literally started from scratch to where we are now. And I can say, sitting here now, we are actually very successful, and we're full, and we've got across 3 sites, and we're growing, and it's going really, really well here. And that is a lot of credit is to the marketing that we've seen, because I think, going back to what you said, Gemma, about that early credibility and being a new AP, they have 120 APs here. So being a new one, you need to, from the off, instantly be, this is who we are, this is what we offer, our values, our ethos, building them trusted relationships was imperative for us. And that came from the website itself. Obviously, the design of that was from We Are Louise, and everything that you kind of covered with them other websites, we have on our website. So that has been crucial, but also we have so much more that we do with you as a marketing team. For example, we have email campaigns that go out there. We meet consistently to discuss what that's going to look like. Who are we approaching? Becky, where's the business at? And what does that email campaign need to look like this month? And that is all really bespoke to our need. And I think that's really important, is being marketing. You can't just put in place and walk away. It has to be ongoing and consistently updated for the people that you're targeting. One of my favorite areas that we do cover is the social media, because that is, again, going back to what you said, Kurt, our young people's journeys are documented on there for everyone to see. It's everyone can talk a really good talk about what you do and what you deliver, but showing it and proving it is crucial to the development of your alternative provision. Again, building that credibility. In terms of what we offer, like I said, it's a bespoke package, so it is a very unique package in what we're offering. So helping with the mail that we send out is explaining the complex offer and breaking it down so that it's understood of no, this is our purpose. Everything we do here is about purpose, and making sure that's coming across in all areas of our marketing is crucial. And what has been done in the last year, and we have seen our direct referrals come in and increase from them elements that we have had of working with We Are Louise and the marketing team. And yeah, credit to and the impact and the visibility that it's given us, and the name that we've built up here in Bournemouth has been because of obviously the amazing job that my team do, but it is that also that marketing side of things, and the way that I'm able to work with you guys and have them conversations of actually, no, we need to adapt this and we need to change this and this needs to align more. Everything that we do at Illuminate, when you look at our media content, it all aligns, and that's crucial and so important, because that is when you are hitting your target audience of, is it parents? Is it children? Is it the young people themselves? Is it commissioners, children's homes, all of the different people who could do a referral in? It's looking at them and you having to adapt around them of what you target, your target audience is. So I think, and I think that comes into play with the different aspects of what we offer. Our emails go out to schools. Our Facebook and social media is there for the public to view, along with commissioners. We have a LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn account now, so does Illuminate. I'm completely alien to online as well, so they've really helped me develop with my LinkedIn and building them professional connections. In that's another realm of people that we can and have contact with now and are able to target and sell ourselves to. And sell our purpose to for them young people. So yeah, I think in the last year, Jem, it's been amazing, and it's gone so much quicker and smoother and so supported, and massive thank you to you guys for all the level of support that we've had, because it's been crucial in everything we do.
It's been our absolute pleasure. And kind of what Becky touched on is that we'll have regular meetings. So I think we've now got a bi-weekly meeting in the diary, so that we'll regularly check in, understand what needs supporting. We write social media content email plans a month ahead, so that we know what's going to be scheduled out for the following month. But also what we see a lot of across APs and supported accommodation and other areas in the children's sector is that people will write content for social media and then copy and paste it across all platforms. And a really important thing to do is tailor content to each individual platform, which we've been doing with Illuminate. So Facebook is for parents, because parents will engage through that and you speak to them directly about their children. Instagram might be more for young people and parents again, and LinkedIn is purely for commissioners and schools, because it's a more professional tone of voice, and that's how you want to reach them. Thank you so much, Becky. I really appreciate you sharing the journey that we're on. And we work really closely with Becky and the team on the branding for Illuminate as well, to make it nice and bright and playful. So we've only got a few minutes left today now, but does anyone have any questions at all that they've thought of throughout the session? If you can't think of any right now, don't worry. You can get in contact with us.
I just had a child. I could hear this sort of distant, like, and I was like, oh, my deputy, what's happening out there? No, sorry, I don't know how many people on this call. I feel like a bit like I've just had almost like a private marketing.
Yeah, I think it's fluctuated throughout the call of it. It's going to be
I can't see who's there, but no, really interesting. I know a story group actually, because I'm based near them. So, and I've gone to some marketing events, and they've had some really good visual, even on marketing stands and things, which has been good. I suppose from my point of view is in terms of also you've talked about social media. Is there anything that sort of is really helpful? Because at the moment, I will do Facebook posts, which is really, they do capture, and I don't like just doing a post for a post, but I just wondered what you think is the best way to attract people. Is it reels, or is it just some pictures, or do people, how do they get involved? Obviously, you're right, parents or carers tend to be the ones that go, oh, is my child there, if they've been given consent? So you know that there's going to definitely be some parents or carers liking it. But obviously, we've got a lot of children that don't have consent to have any presence on social media. So it's just about, I don't know if you've got any thoughts around how you highlight everyone that may not be visually there in the front of them.
So what you can be quite clever with is if you're doing an activity or an event with a young person, take a picture of the back of their head just over the top, or of them not showing their face. If they don't have the consent, obviously, never to show their face or who they are, never mention names, that kind of thing. But yeah, you can take a picture of them from the back so you can't identify that young person. We do find that video content performs a lot better. That's just how social media algorithms are preferring content to be positioned at the moment.
With videos, did you say?
Video content is way more popular. It will get more engagement. Algorithms want to show it to audiences more. But that doesn't mean you have to film a 5-minute video. It can be a quick, short, sharp 30-second video of an activity or an event.
Yeah, day in the life videos. I think I think founders sometimes get quite recluse sometimes as a founder, and sometimes I think it's really important to showcase your personality, why you're actually doing it in the first place, your story, your mission. It's a really good opportunity to connect with your audience as well. So day in the life videos as a founder of an AP, what do you typically look like? The day look like? It might be manic, and that might be great because that's showing you, right? It's it might be crazy, it might be you're showcasing you and your passion. That's going to really come through. Also, kids and young people love being involved in the content. You can utilize them in filming the content, put them behind the camera, get them involved about what they're doing, and that type of content can really work as well.